get on the studio here. It did cover it up. Good morning. This is God, Freedom, and Bitcoin. Bear with us for just a second. Okay, great. We're here. We're
Technical
live.
difficulties. Always fun when you're doing a live show.
Hey, if you paid your tech person in Louis Vuitton, it would be perfect.
Right on.
Exactly.
And expensive.
It would be lovely. Welcome to God, Freedom, and Bitcoin. I'm Janet Gatewood here with my husband, Todd Gatewood.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys have had a great weekend.
And it has been a minute since we've had a podcast, but we have had a lot going on here at the club, and we have been celebrating 50 years of Bitcoin Ben Simchi and 1 year anniversary of the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club Nashville. So we've recovered, I think, from the weekend, and we have a special guest here. Actually, he's a wonderful regular guest. We have Steve Blanco here today.
Hi.
Here's Steve. He's been in the space 12 years, and we're just going to have fun here for about 20, 30 minutes and catch up on some things going on in the world today. So, one of the things, so I was glancing at the White House this morning. So I've been all about party mode, right, for Ben. But I was looking at the White House to see what's up, because we've been seeing in the news, we've been seeing a lot going on with Ukraine, everything else. But I saw something that I haven't seen on a news story, which is he's now got an executive order to make English the first language in the U.S. Amazing.
I actually saw that last week, that he was talking about that, or that they were talking about that, to do that. So we'll see. That's interesting.
And the Zelensky thing was abstract, absolutely failure for Zelensky. That was absolute perfect theater, man. Was that not the craziest thing you've ever seen?
That was just past the creator's popcorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which we pounded some of that too, man. That stuff's good.
So I hadn't seen it. We'd been working all day, and it's 10 o'clock at night. And I glanced at Facebook, and a lady that I adore, grew up with, is so angry and so embarrassed by the president. And I thought, what happened? What did he do? And I went back, but I watched the whole 40 minutes.
I was just going to say, it's 40 minutes. You got to watch the whole thing to put it into context. No, don't go by what the media throws out.
Well, and I think he's a fraud. I know there's all this emotion for the Ukraine, but the guy he's schlepping for more money. He wants more money. Do you know how many people in our country are suffering, and that money could help, and they want it for the Ukraine, and you could give them half, and they can't even track the money that was given. They don't know where part of it went. Like, I'm sorry, if I loan you money and you don't know where $500 million, even $500 million, but it was like 100 and something billion that went missing.
There's like different
numbers. You think
numbers.
I'm going to give you more?
There's like different numbers being thrown around. Nobody knows the truth like usual. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, it has nothing to do with the people of the Ukraine, because a whole bunch of them have been murdered.
I think that's the crushing thing.
And this guy is like a megalomaniac, like usual. And he's just another politician, corrupt guy. And I don't understand why people are defending him like he's some kind of great hero.
Okay, so just like the basketball players that dropped the knee to get attention and get all of this social media, which worked, he can't wear a suit. We've given him $200+ billion, and he can't show a little respect everywhere. So what does he do? He goes to the UK, and they promise him, but they can't stand behind it. But guess what? It's a trick, because they're in NATO, and we're in NATO. So we need to get out of NATO, because what they want to do is pull us into World War III and get us back on that battlefield. And Trump wants peace. He sat in the White House. He said he wants peace. Zelensky doesn't want peace. Trump wants peace.
Yeah, I don't know who wants peace when I zoom out and look around at the world, really. But I like to think that somebody does.
I would like a little peace.
I would say normal, everyday people want peace.
Yeah.
Some of these people that are pulling the puppet strings don't necessarily want peace, because that takes away their money funnel.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I look at, as the regular people, because none of these people in power really care about us. Like that's an illusion, you know. But we do know that there are definitely different levels of lying, right? And I think that the whole Ukraine thing has obviously been some kind of like side hustle, right? To keep us all continuing in our fear-mongered, like the threat of World War III, right? Which has been a threat, by the way, for our entire lifespan.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
I mean, lives, right?
Did you hear him in the Oval Office threaten, though? You're going to feel it. You have the ocean, but he literally threatened them in the Oval Office. And one of the things I read was that Trump let this happen so he would show who he is. And I think that's what happened. But when I was listening to it, I was like, oh my gosh, he just threatened. And that's when President Trump got angry. That's when Vance, that's when all of that really started blowing up. Because I'm sorry, you're going to sit in the Oval Office and threaten us when you're begging us for money? Seriously.
It was pretty embarrassing, actually, just in general, you know? I don't know. The whole thing is weird, though. Like, it looks like that movie Wag the Dog.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like, they both have, like, you know, Secret Service earpieces in. Trump has it, Vance has it, and Zelensky has it, and they're getting told different things to say, right? And then they just make this outburst that keeps us all engaged.
Of course, the whole Biden administration, they were constantly, between him and Kamala Harris, were constantly getting stuff fed to them.
Right. And the Biden thing was even crazier because that was, you know, like green screen. That may not even have been, any of that may not have been real at all.
I think it was filmed in Georgia, personally, myself. But
yeah, Castle Rock Studios.
Castle Rock.
You could see the lights. Like, they were on the stage almost every time he was on TV. That is the most, like, really, what's really going on? So, honestly, if that's why we're here at the club, right? You need to see, feel, know people are real. Like, things, we don't even know if videos are real right now because there's so many AI. I'll be trying to check the feeds and socials, and I'll see this AI reel, and there's one that keeps popping up with President Trump and Melania Trump, First Lady. They're not real.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they even, what? Oh my goodness.
So if you guys want to get down to real, just come join one of our clubs, and you can actually see real people have real conversations and talk about real things.
Okay, we're going to talk about some real things right now.
Yeah,
which is the Bitcoin price.
Yes, let's talk about that. But real quick, the AI thing, I just want to add one little note is that we haven't seen anything yet.
Nope.
It's going to be so insane, so quick, so fast that we're going to have a very hard time being able to tell what's real at all of anything anymore, other than going into the woods and going for a walk and just
piecing out.
Yeah, exactly.
For real. Yeah.
We got a nice gift this weekend. We have one of our team members, Bamboo Ben, brought us this sand timer. What do they call it? Hourglass. Thank you. I'm tired, right?
Sands, Days of Our Lives.
Did you watch Days of Our Lives?
I might have had some sisters, and I started watching that stuff.
Sixth grade.
I loved it. It was good, man.
I remember it too.
I was hooked on it for a while.
No, wait, my brother in sixth grade, we were all at the beach, just family vacation, like 12 or 15 of us, and we had to watch Days of Our Lives. I'm like, what? My brother, and then my dad and brother started watching this show. And
I love it.
Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
I love it.
They always talked about, he called them Hope and Dope, but Bo and Hope.
Hope and Dope. Yeah, but that thing,
rope and dope.
Actually, that used to creep me out, that whole, like, the sands of the hourglass. Like, it was kind of dark, right?
Don't forget Stefano DiMera.
Oh, no. Oh, look at you.
The ultimate bad guy.
My husband knows the characters of Days of Our Lives. I married well. But no, seriously, it was so great. We could talk about Days of Our Lives.
Oh my gosh, it'd be ridiculous.
And when Larry Welch, anyway, but this hourglass, I so appreciated it because, like, yes, I've had 2 14-hour days in a row. We threw this big party. Ben's like, go home and rest. Don't answer your phone. And that's not what happened.
Real estate kicks in.
The sun came out and real estate kicked in. And I've been running nonstop for 48 hours. And so, which is why I'm a little bit tired today. So thank you, Bamboo, for the hourglass, because I'm going to turn that thing and set this phone aside. And that's what you're saying is, connecting with nature, like what's real. We really need to be very careful online. We really don't know all what's real. And these news stories, so many of them are sleight of hand. So, hey, look at this craziness in the White House over here where we're not watching this over here. So people really need to be astute and aware and not look at one news source, not look at a clip. So I watched the whole thing because I wanted an objective point of view. But what is going on is also affecting Bitcoin. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, the Bitcoin price, I mean, obviously the markets, traditional markets as well, like they're kind of operating the same way right now. They're going to be affected by news like that, like global events and things like that. But I don't know if it's real or not, or if because I feel like they dial the market up and down.
Yes. By
just moving funds around, or maybe even some other way that we're not even aware of, because the price right now is what, 83,000 or something like
83 or 84. It's funny. We went all the way up to like 94 yesterday, and everybody was getting excited again.
Right. So it was a pump and dump basically.
Yes.
And one thing I saw that I didn't really like was that David Sachs, he's like the biggest shareholder of Bitwise.
Mm-hmm.
He, benefited from this pump and dump greatly. So like, I'm starting to just not really like these people that are coming in Washington for crypto, just as an OG crypto guy who's really a fan of the ethos of the Bitcoin white paper and cryptocurrencies and the common people. I don't know who to believe or who to trust right now,
It's weird because we have this working group, and they're putting out about the strategic reserve. And the first statement Trump put out did not mention Bitcoin, which Bitcoin is technically a cryptocurrency.
Oh, it is.
People don't realize that. So it technically is. So he was technically correct. He just didn't use the name. And then there was an additional tweet that said it would include it. My thought again is he's probably wanting to buy it with the US's money. And if it stays down, he can get more before he announces it. Because I think the minute he really it takes off, you're going to see that candle, that huge candle after that announcement.
That is certainly a possibility. The thing about the United States buying it is that they can just print money. So like, I'm not really sure how that works, because again, that just seems fake again, right?
Hang on. Isn't it the Fed that's not in the U.S. that prints money? Not the U.S. Isn't
No,
it
the United States Treasury prints the money.
They're just
the
printing.
Fed orders them to print the money.
So the Fed can order the U.S. Treasury to do stuff, yet they're private. They're a privately owned company, but they can order a government company like the Treasury.
Goes back to your book, Creature from Jekyll Island.
Okay, people, if you have not read, we're both like halfway through it.
Yep.
The Creature from Jekyll Island. You need to get this book and read it, and we need to finish it in our spare time after.
Need a little truth. That and the Bible are two of your best pieces of truth. Read them both. So,
and if you're done with the Bible and that, get Bitcoin Standard and the Fiat Standard
and Plato's Republic.
Oh,
read that one because you'll be like, whoa. It's so relevant, and it was written 3,000 years ago. One thing I will say about the Federal Reserve, I will never defend them, is that it's the biggest scam of all because they're not part of the United States government, even though they're sort of part of the United States government, right? That's how they fool all of us. That's how they fool the public. I mean, you can ask your average person on the street. They're going to tell you that it is part of the United States government.
Well, they named it the way, like federal. So you think they did it on purpose. Sleight of hand.
Word soup. Yep, totally. And the thing about it. So here's another thing I was thinking about. The IMF is getting on Bukele for using the money that he borrowed for them to purchase Bitcoin. They told him he's got to stop doing that. So I'm just curious as to how long that's going to take before he says, you know what? I don't care what you say. Keep sending it and I'll pay it off.
I love it. I love that he's doing that.
I do too.
Because the World Bank is just the big central bank.
He's thumbing their nose at him, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And so more countries should do that.
Take their money and beat them with it.
They did it to us. He's basically doing a Michael Saylor, except on a nation state level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And
borrowing money to buy Bitcoin.
That's what everybody's, honestly, that's what they're doing. Just taking out house loans. People are doing that. So, I mean, that tells you their confidence in Bitcoin itself for so many people to be leveraging themselves to get more of it. That's amazing.
Now, here's the real question for the podcast. How low do we think we're going to see this Bitcoin before it turns around?
And hey, guys, the chat is open. And this is a quick podcast. We're going to be on here about 10 or 12 more minutes. So if you want to put your thoughts on how low you think it'll go, how high you think it'll go, add that right in here.
I would just want to also bring up that I did listen to Plan B's most recently. Plan B is, the guy from the Dutch guy who made the rainbow chart, right? He was in TradFi for 30 years and got really into Bitcoin and crypto. But his recent video was a little bit like, he was like looking at his rainbow chart and going like, this doesn't look that good. Like we should see some red dots by now. And we're not seeing them. And he's like, he doesn't think, just like the rest of us, we all believe we're still in this bull cycle and we haven't seen it yet. But there's a part of him that was like, what if that was the top 108,000 this time,
It might
and
be.
it may have been, so, and because there's been a lot of signals like the Trump meme, this whole pump and dump thing with David Sachs, this announcement that you were just talking about the strategic reserve, but then Trump also, or his son, whatever, or somebody was from the Trump crypto world, put out like all these other cryptos that they're going to include, but then that turns out that no one knows if that's real or not. Like, this is what's going on to me is just like, I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, so Bitcoin dollar, who's listening, thinks it's going to go down to 75,000, and I think it could.
I think that's realistic.
I think it's realistic. Remember when it never would go over 69? So I'm like, I'll take 75. Like what? A year ago, it was around 62,000 as we sit here because we had just opened. So I remember those numbers. So, and we're at about 85,000 right now.
I mean, look,
so that's a great place.
Let's be real here. If we could go into a bear market and stay at 75,000, I think you'd have a lot of happy people.
Well, that would just mean that we're done with this cycle. We have to go another 4 years because that's the normal bottom price where it would be somewhere around the previous all-time high, which was 69,000. So I hope that's not what happens.
I hope it's not either. But look, if we have to,
because that's not good, actually.
No, I know.
Hey, I don't think we're at the bottom, but I'm a cup half full person. I am. But I do think we've got a lot more coming this year because I really think if you look at the cycles, it tends to be later in the year. So I think, and I saw a chart yesterday that this exactly mirrors 4 years ago, right before it did a God candle way up. So one thing I want to talk about are the tariffs, because people are saying that's affecting the price of Bitcoin, and they're upset about the tariffs. But when you think about, think about when you go on the carnivore diet, which we're trying to go back on, right?
Yeah.
We really would feel better. But when you go on it, like I'm upset, I can't have the cookies or the cake or the sugar or, whatever.
Muffin mix like I like.
Oh my God. Muffin mix. Dry muffin mix. And so we can't do that. But wow, if you stay with that, it's so much better on the other side. You feel better. Your clothes fit better. Your health is better. With the tariffs, there might be some short-term pain in that with pricing, but you're bringing it back. He's bringing timber back to the U.S., which helps our people here. It brings jobs back to the U.S. It stops outsourcing everything. And the other thing, though, is I do think he wants to end the IRS and let the tariffs take over. So you have to get those in place. So you think about this short-term pain. We've all been in pain anyway for 4 years. So you think about this a little bit longer.
Steve says a lot longer timeline for
yeah, it's not just the last 4 years, but.
So you think about that. So, I mean, if we just put up with it a little bit longer, we all have been, that, wow, if they did away, I mean, haven't they already said they're going to remove taxes on Social Security and on tips on several things? So I think all of that's coming.
I mean, tips, that's huge. That's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and by the way, man, Honda, our favorite car company, guess what? Honda is bringing back their Civic production to Indiana. I don't know if you heard that or not.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, seriously. That's
even though
tariff.
I prefer the ones that are made in Japan.
Oh, well, that's
well, can I just say something about the tariffs real quick?
Yeah.
Because this is my view on it. I don't understand why people freak out about the tariffs, because to me, that just says that you're kind of ill-informed or you've never traveled outside of the United States, because many, many countries already have been doing this the whole time. I mean, I lived in Europe. In Europe, many European countries, they keep production in-house, like you go around, the products are made in even a small country like Holland, where I lived, like the Netherlands, you see stuff made in the Netherlands. That's what they use. That's nothing new. That's what I'm trying to figure out why people are so like getting upset, as if they're like ready to go picket. You know what I mean? They're ready to go. What's the word? Like protest.
Protest. Yeah.
It's like you don't even know what you're protesting about, though.
I'll tell you why. It's the mainstream media telling them.
Right.
The mainstream media tells them how to interpret everything. This is bad. You can watch it for 5 minutes and see how slanted it is and how unobjective. I mean, journalism is dead as far as that.
Totally dead.
And I saw something where they were talking about, they were putting down influencers and bloggers and podcasters. That's really the true journalism going on. That's really the voice getting out. We don't have this list of talking points that every news station across the country has to say, okay, Trump did this. Here are your talking points. It's bad because this, it's bad because this, it's bad. That's how we've been living. And the people that keep seeing that, they have this anxiety and anger and just, it's
fear.
So toxic. Yeah, fear. A big one is fear.
And I think a lot of it too, I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of it is because their lifestyle depends on staying in this system that we're in. And I really think a lot of it has to do with that. It's not so much that they don't want change. It's like they don't want change their lifestyle. So they're willing to keep people down.
What they need
underneath their thumb.
They need customers.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
You know, they just need the global banking cartel needs customers. You know?
Oh, yeah. And guess what? We're the sheeple.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So Bitcoin dollar, hey, this is awesome with you on the chat today. He thinks it'll hit 200,000 this year. And I'm with you. I think it will too. And he also agrees.
That seems reasonable.
He also agrees short-term pain, long-term gain. We will
feel
it.
So it says BBCCMI. I'm assuming that's Michigan. So that's our buddy Phil. I bet. If that's Phil, hey, what's up, my man?
Oh, and you came in this weekend. That was such a great weekend.
Yeah, it's great to see you, my friend.
Yeah, it was really fun to see people come out. Bitcoin Ben has changed so many people's lives trying to spread the word about Bitcoin to the little guy and the everyday guy. And because the big guys already knew about it quietly. But it's all of the little guys that they're all here. We came to celebrate him. We wouldn't really, you heard about it through X22 and said, hey, I think we really need to look at, we were afraid of Bitcoin. And there are still a lot of people out there afraid. Steve, for people that are afraid, what would you say to them?
Well, first, I just want to say that Bitcoin Ben and the clubs and everything is about education and adoption, right? If you really think about the big picture, is about how do you get people to adopt something new? They have to learn about it, right? Otherwise, they're going to fear it, right? And that goes with Bitcoin, especially. I would say there's nothing to fear if you just go and learn about it. You know, it's really, there's never been anything like this in history. Maybe some people compare it to like the wheel, or fire. Like that's how big Bitcoin actually seems to be in our imagination right now, you know?
Or even more recent terms, you could say the internet back in the early mid 90s, man.
I mean, and the internet, I mean, people thought that was a scam.
Yep. Sounds familiar. So we do repeat history, guys. You just have to ignore it sometimes, what you're hearing from people that have a higher thinking.
Yeah, exactly. I like the comparing it to fire. I'm going to go with that because to me, that's just unreal.
I'm
right?
Like, fire. Comparing Bitcoin to the wheel or fire. It's on fire.
But it really is kind of like that if you start thinking about it, you know, because it's changing human life.
Yeah.
It's affecting civilization on a scale, right? Like the first people that figured out fire, whatever,
rubbing sticks together and starting sparks.
And who knows who that is or how long ago that was or whatever. But like that was a game changer. Now all of a sudden you can grill up some meat.
Some Bitcoin meat.
Yeah.
Okay. The coolest thing happened to us Friday night. We left here late because we were getting ready for the party, and this gentleman drove up. And we were like, it was 8:30. We're like, because it's dark.
We're chicken fried at that point, guys.
And we were a little fried.
Yeah, we were.
He was so nice. And he was Joshua. And he was like, what is this? I was at Best Buy. It's always the guys going to Best Buy that swing by. I want to see what
we
this
love
is.
us some Best Buy.
And you know what? He was like, there are people I can talk crypto about. And it was so neat to see. He'd been researching it. He knew a whole lot about it, was in the space, and he's got 3 kids, and he's looking forward to making his future better. And I love that. And that's what we want to do, is we should help every person get to that point and also have a community to talk to about it. But that was super encouraging. And so as we talk about this and what Steve said, what you said is true, they fear it until they understand it. So anyone listening and you fear it, study it. I mean, because Todd, you asked me to go to that conference. Yeah. I didn't want to. I was busy selling houses, and I went because I love you and I wanted to, support you. Oh my goodness. And I looked at him at the end of the conference. I'm like, you need to quit your job. He hated his job.
Talk about validation, buddy. Because I was like, this could go one or two ways. Either I'm going to look like a total complete idiot, or she's going to be like all in. And sure enough, that's why we're in this club.
All in.
Because she's all in.
Except I'm still selling houses.
And still selling houses, though.
But what you said is right. And I so appreciate that. And Steve, you being here, in fact, we're teaching a class in 22 minutes. So we're going to have to cut this short in a little bit. But you being here has made such a difference. You've taught us so much. Mm-hmm. It's also really fun because you've been in the space forever. What else would you say to someone looking at Bitcoin right now?
I would say that I can confidently say it's the greatest thing ever. So please learn about it, really, for your sake.
And family too.
Yeah.
Future generations, guys. Mm-hmm. You can build future generational wealth for each and every one of your family members. That's huge.
And you can't understand Bitcoin, though, until you understand the current system that we live in.
Yes.
That's a big thing, because most people actually have no idea how the fiat system works. Really, zero idea, right? Of the central bank, money printing. Most people don't even know about that. They're just working and getting paid and they think that's the value, right? You know?
It's a Ponzi scheme, and it always has been. And you look at it, Steve, everybody's out here working as hard as they can work to survive and provide for their family, keep a roof over their head, pay their bills and stuff like that. Well, that's part of their scheme, is like keep people busy and even have them watching sports and all this other stuff that we do or used to have done. And it's just like they're keeping us asleep so they can continue to basically steal from us, is what they're doing.
Like Saifedean says in the subtitle of his book, The Debt Slavery System.
Yes, very true. Very true.
I want to say our title is God, Freedom, and Bitcoin. And we are here. Freedom. Freedom is what we are all seeking. Freedom from jobs we hate, financial freedom, freedom to choose who we want for president, freedom to say what we want about that president and about the other president. Like, just that's why we're in this space. And I'm so excited. I think there's a lot of hope in the country that because we are allowed now to say what we want, we're not being censored on the social platforms like we were. That was horrific. You couldn't, I mean, they would censor everything. Like, it's unbelievable how communistic this country became in such a short amount of time. We need to do everything we can in this 4-year cycle to, like, everything he's passing in executive order, it needs to become law. So it needs to move from his desk and from his pen to Congress, and it needs to be passed. So it's not, can't just be erased the next time the person comes in that disagrees with him. So that's one thing. Anyone listening, encourage your elected officials to get this into law, to submit bills, to get these passed in Congress. There's so much we need to do.
I'm sorry, Steve. We need to put pressure on our politicians too to do the right thing, because the lobbyists are really, and that's another thing that needs to go away, is all the lobbyists. The money that's coming into these people, that needs to stop.
I was going to say everything that you both just said, the legislation part is obviously huge, right? Because we need to feel like there's some kind of actual protection that can't just be so easily erased. But I think even beyond that, it's up to the people. It's the will of the people. It always goes back to the will of the people, you know?
Yeah.
And I, you know, we see a lot more people now that are not afraid to voice their opinion. Even ChatGPT. If you start asking questions about the mRNA experimental drug, it now supports the fact that, yes, it was not a good idea.
Seriously.
Yeah, and I was going to talk about it on the class today later. So I got a couple things from it.
So basically, ChatGPT could be a politician, because it's in, you know, stick your finger in the air and just whatever way it's blowing, I'm going to say whatever.
Well, you know, it's pretty complex actually, because it's built on, you know, somebody like Mark Andreessen would be able to explain this way better than me. I don't really know the tech behind it, but it's a lot of variables that build this thing. You know, it's still making mistakes, but it goes with really wherever we're going. You know, that's the crazy thing. So
scary thing too.
Well, I'm sorry to say this. We're going to have to wrap it up, because this is so much fun.
We got
and I think we go on. We got to go. So, hey, join the club and you can see Steve in the class in 15 minutes. Oh, 17 minutes.
Or Janitor Todd. Also, we'll do another one next week or something.
Yeah. So thank y'all for joining us today. This is God, Freedom, and Bitcoin. We are here at the Bitcoin Ben Crypto Club, Nashville. And our number is 562-526-0813. You can reach us at bitcoinbencryptoclubnashville.com. If you're interested in investing in any of Ben's clubs, resorts, this man is building the plumbing for the network's lightning speed. Go to bitcoinbeninvestments.com. Watch for resorts coming. Watch for, there's so many things coming. We were about to open St. Louis, Dallas, Las Vegas clubs. So a lot coming. It's a very exciting time. Go Bitcoin, go Bitcoin Ben, go President Trump.
Real quick, I was just telling him we should open a club in New Mexico and call it Area 21.
With a bunch of space alien stuff.
Paint it gray.
Yeah, no, I love it, man.
It needs a blimp above it that looks like a spaceship. I mean,
Ideas,
we could
ideas,
go all
ideas.
day
Like
on this.
a big model of an SR-71 Blackbird right out front. you know?
Nice. Nice. And a little spaceship.
Please let me brand this.
Yes, absolutely.
Pretty please. Thank y'all so much.
Thanks,
Thank you,
guys.
Steve, for joining us today.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Everyone have a great, wonderful, beautiful day.
See you
Thanks.
next time, guys.
Bye.
Bye.